All right, hey, it's all about trying to do something a little different. It's the downtime. Aric Lee, we call them the ZoomTown shows. Fourth one we've done. We got a chance to talk to all the Central A&M Raiders a few weeks ago, the team of the last couple years, and now we're talking to I guess the ultimate all-star team. I'm gonna call it Decatur Legends, but there's no way we can get all of them on one call at one time because there's a good 20 of them that we could have thought of to invite. But it could be up to 12 of them popping in here. And I tell you, I get called. I take pride in what I do with the station because I've been called a homer for 9 different schools. But a lot of people, they forget that my school shut down. So when I get called a homer all this time regularly, and it's like you don't know anything what a homer at Meridian is or a homer at Sangamon Valley is, because there's only one place I'm gonna be a homer for. And that's the middle school on the north side. Look how good this fits. Look how good it fits, Tarise. Look at this. It ain't good. It ain't good. It's been 70 pounds ago. But this is what I'm a homer for. I'm a homer for more than Stevie Decatur. I'm a homer for a chance to talk to all these guys because if you grew up on basketball around this area, you know a lot of these names. I'm gonna go right at my guy Tarise Bryson, class of 97, and Taurus Cook. Taurus is poking his head in there as we just kind of catch up. Were you guys quarantining in Decatur, right? Tarise, of course, been coaching at MacArthur. And Taurus, where you living? Champaign?
Yeah.
Tarise, what's been up, man? That's life's a little different now, huh?
Life's a lot different now. Just sitting around, playing around. Ain't nothing to do. Ready to get back at it.
What coaching at MacArthur a little bit. Is the new goal to be a head coach now one day?
I'm just playing my role. If it happens, it happens. Right now, I'm just being an assistant, trying to get these kids better.
Well, Jason Crutcher called me a few years ago and said, what do you think about Tarise being a coach? And I was like, I don't know. Does he talk enough to coach? And look at you now. You've been killing it. So definitely proud of you guys for getting after it. Tarise, of course, graduated in 97, went on to Illinois State. I talk all the time about how he played 3 seasons and 1 half of basketball. He would have been the all-time leading scorer at Illinois State if he played his senior year. But Doug Collins still holds that. Who's a college basketball Hall of Famer? So, I think Tarise should probably be a part of that. Tarise known with Taurus. It's funny, they're hanging out now because 20-plus years ago they were, I guess, Batman and Robin number 2 because them boys at the MAC that drove us crazy, Cortez and John Cliff. John Cliff is still a Wisconsin guy. Went from MacArthur right to Marquette, right, John?
Yeah.
Right, and then tell me about life after that. What'd you do as far as hoop?
I went overseas for 5 years. Went to Finland and Austria. Then I came back here working for a company called Professional Services Group, doing human services. Right now, I run a visitation program for kids that are trying to get back into the home, and that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years now.
Anything with basketball?
No, not really. Just, helping out with my kids, more or less than anything. But just, I stay with it a little bit. But as you can see, a little weight on me, so just keeping active.
Hey, nothing. You know nothing about a whole lot of weight. Cortez Bond was I don't know. You guys were Batman and Robin, but I'm not sure who was Batman. John, you were Player of the Year as a sophomore. Is that right? And then yeah. Cortez won the next 2 years.
Correct.
Cortez, what did you? How did that happen? For some reason in my head as a young guy, I knew John Cliff first. What was it about Cortez that he became the Player of the Year guy for the next 2 years?
Well, hell, me and John played together since Roosevelt. We played together in middle school, and then we transferred over to MacArthur. And my freshman year, I didn't get moved up till later. John moved up his freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I didn't play. I hurt my knee, had surgery, and missed the whole. So when I came back, it was just kind of adjustment period, just kind of hadn't played since my freshman year.
So you would have been a 3-time Player of the Year, and John wouldn't have won nothing. Is that what
I don't know about that now. I don't know about that.
No, John, hey, that sophomore year John had was man like no other. I had to sit on the sidelines and watch. He snapped that whole year.
I will say my introduction to basketball, I went to a Catholic school. We had 6 boys in our class. So I never knew nothing. And one of my best friends was in 7th grade. He went to Roosevelt. He said, you got to come to this Roosevelt game with me because we got an 8th grader that can dunk. And I was like, All right, all right. And John Cliff gets a breakaway dunk. So from that day on, I was like, whoo, John, kid dunking at Roosevelt. And then we go into high school, things change up a little bit. A year behind you guys is Mike Phillips, and we're very familiar with Peasy. I've spouted Peasy's name for many years. Probably should have been a head coach around here for like the last decade, but Wichita State guy and trying to stay ahead of his son right now, I guess, as far as talent. He pass you yet?
Yeah, we've been playing a little one-on-one, man, but he beat me the other day for the first time.
Really? First time?
Yeah, he beat me. He's been talking about it for a while now, but again, I'm a little out of shape right now, so he's staying in shape, so he got me by a point.
Cortez,
Come on, Mike.
In your kid beat you yet, Tez?
Nah.
You're not going to do it.
You ain't beating your son.
He in there right now. He will get
this either.
Freshen up a little bit here before we get turned back the clock with a couple of them old guys at the bottom of the screen. Lou Jack is in the house. We lost Jarod Oldham. I don't know if he's gonna come back, but Lewis Jackson back. Congratulations, dude. You finished your master's degree, is that right?
Yeah, got it done.
Got it done. Living
That's
life
huge,
now, right?
man.
Moving on. And I know still in Decatur, but long-term goal, what you want to do with that?
I want to be a part of basketball in some form, some way. I mean, this is what I do. I mean, everybody on here knows it's in us. So it's like me not being able to give back, if it's training, thought about possibility being an agent, even coaching, just whatever door open up. I just want to be a part of the game and be able to help mentor and give back, because what I've seen, it'd be unfair for me not to be a part of the game.
Is it loving the game, or is it like wanting to help young people? I mean, where's the passion?
It's both. I mean, I think all guys see it better, because they're in the gym with young guys. Like, you go through a stretch, once you go to college, you become a pro. It becomes about being a businessman. Like, some of your love for the game get tested. And then you go back around high school kids, young kids, and you see them not necessarily naive, but, they chasing a dream. It kick your passion back in, and then you able to give advice. It's just it's a form of business, and it's able to be given knowledge that we should be giving our guys, that the Chicago guys do, Indiana guys do. Like, it's a fraternity. We gotta, somehow just give it back to the game.
The cycle's amazing, because I've watched more than half of your kids play now, which is unbelievable. And then also, we got a guy here who's player of the year as a player, but also Lewis's coach, Jeremy Moore, who has been doing radio with me for about 5-6 years. Not as much since he's been watching his son, but he'll be back with us. Jeremy, you coach Lewis, of course, but also Jeremy was the 1990 Co-Player of the Year with Phillips. Jeremy, first thing a couple people ask is, why aren't you coaching? Why aren't you coaching? Are you tired of that question yet? Did you have to remind people you played? Are you too old?
I don't care. In fact, I probably shouldn't be on this call. I mean, it's great seeing you guys, and the level these guys played is awesome. But I mean, I'd like to get back into it. My youngest one is going to be a freshman next year. And we've been toying around with some things as far as don't even know exactly where he's going to go yet to school. So, I'd like to get my finger back on the pulse somehow, if not in the head job, just helping out. But I really like helping you out, and lets me see these young guys. And then, I mean, looking on here, Lewis talking about giving back. I mean, Peasy, Rodney, Reese, it's just great to see these guys give back and share this knowledge that they've had with these younger kids. So it's great to see out all you guys.
Obviously, the year after you, the player of the year was Rodney Walker at St. Teresa. And I think some people forget where Rodney went to high school. Rodney, did you ever feel slighted while you were in high? I mean, did you play enough street ball that nobody cared that you went to a smaller school, or did you get a little beef even back then?
I didn't get much beef because what I did when I left high school, you know what I'm saying, when I was in the parks. People forget I only went to St. Teresa really 2 years. So I had missed out on so much basketball, man, since elementary, with getting kicked off teams, little behavior issues, things like that. Then finally getting to high school, and things didn't work out my freshman year, ended up getting cut. I didn't like the situation, so I left and had to go to St. Teresa, and then I ended up having to sit out a whole another year. So I missed so much basketball, man. And all I had was like 2 years left after sitting out that year at St. Teresa. So when I did had a chance to play, man, it was balls to the walls. You know, I was off the chart. But what got me prepared, probably mostly at that time, to teach me the X's and O's was like with Monty. Phil Banks taught us a lot with the X's and O's. But I was so raw, just growing up in the park at that time. And if it wasn't for the park that gave me that edge and that grit, I probably wouldn't have been able to excel coming from St. Teresa, because you have a different motor when you grew up in that type of system all your life. It's just a different kind of player. And I didn't grow up in that system all my life, so that helped me that I had both. So
Well,
Rodney dropped a name there that us old heads know that these young cats don't know. Phil Banks. I don't know if you're familiar with him, Aric, but if you played AAU with Phil Banks.
Yeah. Well, all I think of is Fresh Prince, but Rodney taught me. He corrected me a little bit.
Down there at the Sal, man. Those were the games down at the Sal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Phil Banks was he looked a little bit like Isaiah Thomas and
wanted to be Bobby Knight.
Barry Sanders. You look a mix of those, but he was a tough, tenacious coach, disciplined under Bobby Knight's system. I mean, Monty would know if it wasn't for Phil saved Monty's life. You know, growing up, I believe if it wasn't for Phil, I don't know what would have happened to Monty. You know, and Monty was fortunate to have somebody like Phil to grab him early and teach him the X's and O's.
Everybody's had their issues. Everybody's done things. Ain't nobody perfect. But Monty, I don't want to make you relive that situation. But sophomore year, you left. You went to Springfield. Did it turn out was that the best decision you made? I don't know why or what. You can talk about whatever you want with that. But I mean, I've had some people talk about greatest players around, and some people will remember you just as a sophomore at Eisenhower. So
absolutely.
I mean, what was
Aric, I embrace that situation. That situation with me being in Decatur, being a young kid out in the streets, causing havoc and not having the discipline and the mindset at the time to actually just go to school and do things you're supposed to do as a kid. And so I got in trouble a lot. You know, that's not anything to be embarrassed about. But Rodney's absolutely right. Phil was a guy who introduced me to basketball. I didn't start playing basketball until I was really in the 7th grade. Didn't even know how to shoot the ball. I remember playing with Chris Ewing, and you guys might know Travis Jones since you're around here. I used to play basketball with those guys at Roosevelt outside courts. You know, they had the 3 courts lined up.
Yeah.
I used to go out there and play with them, and we were playing 21. Man, I couldn't even get 6 points. But the transition from working with Phil Banks from the 7th grade, since he had me, to 8th grade, I think was the biggest key as far as my career is concerned. He worked with me every day on technique, on how to shoot the ball. He shot a pole directly in front of me. I had to shoot over the top of the pole. I had to shoot with one hand. I had to do it over and over, hours and hours. He taught me about hard work, how to run suicides. If anybody know Phil, you know you ran suicides. You ran until you was in shape. And so that 7th to 8th grade year was beginning of me playing basketball and becoming a basketball player. I mean, and you talk about Bond dunking in 8th grade. From 7th to 8th grade, everything happened for me. I started dunking in 8th grade, and my talent, I was just kind of a raw talent, like Rodney was saying. But Phil kind of molded that and started teaching me how to read screens and make second efforts and things like that. So when I started doing those things, I of course, obviously separated myself.
Tarise, when did it start for you, man? Because did you not play in 7th grade? Did you not make it in 7th grade? I mean, Rodney said he got cut as a freshman. What?
I played the set. I went to Mount.
Right. I know. I was thinking you didn't play one of those years, though. But you played both years?
I played both years.
You weren't killing yet. It was Quentin Wilder's team. I don't know if you remember Q, but suddenly your freshman year, Tarise trots out the turkey tournament. We're like, crap's doing. And then sure enough, the guy goes on to score 1,900 points. Did something click for you in junior high, freshman year? What was it?
It probably come out. I got to go into the old Y, watching Monty and Rodney come up.
I remember you watching on the side, too.
Yeah. Don't forget me. We wouldn't let you play.
Yeah.
We wouldn't let you play.
I remember you up there, too.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Monty told me, I said, man, can I shoot with you? He's like, you can get my rebounds. I never forgot that.
My bad, man. I was hungry. Hey, I was hungry. I was a hard worker, man.
I took that personal.
Lewis, did you catch up with these guys when you were younger? Who'd you look up to?
I mean, you knew Tarise. Like, for me, Tarise is probably the most about, especially my era. You know about Cortez, hear about John. Big Monty left early, so all I just heard was he left. I heard he could play, but he left. Rodney come back. By the time Rodney come back, he was Skywalker. I went from N1, Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when Mike P. I called Mike P. when I was in 8th grade. Mike P. probably the first person that really told me I could ball. I called him in a middle school game, charity game. He just happened to be there. I went up for a layup, but I was actually gonna try and dunk it. And I told him, like, man, I got scared. I thought he was gonna undercut me. He was like, "Oh no, big dog, you got it, man. You special." And after that it kind of clicked, and I always was chasing Tarise. Tarise saw me one time out east. I went out.
How much are you guys seeing that picture? I'm trying to learn how to share screens here. You seeing that?
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah.
Jeremy, tell me about this kid in high school a little bit. Tell me about the first this kid that walked in was dressing like D Brown at the beginning.
This is a story. This is a story I tell. I just told my kids this not too long ago. Lewis is the reason I quit playing basketball, because I was always playing with our teams in the spring, and I used to give them all kinds of shit. And I said, it's bad when your coach is your best player, And I said, and my wife used to give me shit, say, when are you going to stop playing? And I came, I can say it now, Lewis was an 8th grader, and he came over in the spring. He wasn't officially a freshman yet. And I knew who he was, but I knew him, but he was an 8th grader, right? So I said, I got the little guy. And I went home after that, and I told my wife, I said, I'm done. I said, I can't keep an 8th grader in front of me. And I was like, this little 8th grader went around me like I was not even there. I was like, I'm done. I've lost it. Well, little did I know he was like one of the quickest kids in the country at the time. But that's it. I quit playing after that. I quit playing with the team. I just quit playing. I quit playing in the league with Rodney, and I was done. So, but that was my impression of Lewis, and I knew we had something special with him.
Mike P, tell me about these guys.
Tell you what, man.
Tell me what it was like playing with these dudes.
Well, I left here after my 8th grade year and went to Danville. I heard a lot about John when I was in Danville. I actually came back to watch John in the Turkey tournament his sophomore year. And I was like, my teammates came down to watch too because he was pretty special. We was like, who's the Cliff kid? So we watched John a lot. I knew Cortez because he's family. I know me and Tarise, man, we played in the boys club when we was young, one-on-one. Me and Tarise did a lot when we were young as well. But Monty and Rodney are probably that I'm more than likely, kind of studied a lot, especially Rodney as the games. I thank Teresa a lot with my uncle, Larry. And watching Jim lead. So, all those guys, in my opinion, I kind of all of them, you know what I mean? And actually, those guys introduced me to the park. I went to that and started going to the parks, man, where, being tough, talking to everybody, trying to find. There were times where I got home, being soft. Phillips was sending me home, let me play. I just had to figure it out, man. And going down there a lot with, like I said, with Rodney and those guys, man, it toughed me up a little bit, man. Prepare for what was coming for Decatur basketball.
John, Tez, tell me about Peasy when he came back. What did he do for that team?
He took a lot of pressure off of us, as far as, handling the ball, different things of that nature. And, bringing a third scorer on the team, that was able to run the team, also shoot the way he did. It took a lot of pressure off, us. So, having that, that 1-2 punch. What was that?
They didn't start winning until I got there. How that sound?
I
was a winner.
Tell them how you feel, Peasy.
Yeah, that might be a little fabricated, but
they didn't have no triangle until Peasy got there.
Ronnie, you might be able to talk about him the most. This dude with all these Bulls posters on every wall wearing this Magic jacket. What,
Who was that?
what
Hey, that was the only coat I had,
He
man.
looks a damn thing. What do you mean, who is that? Put a little tie on.
Hey, you know what? All right, that was the only coat I had, and I don't even know where I got it from.
Jordan
I know where
posters
you got it
everywhere.
from.
Magic jacket.
I know where you got it from.
Where, El Dorado?
Rodney Mama got it.
No, be honest. I think my sister gave me that coat, man. I had the hookup.
Roddy, what made Monty good?
Man, Monty, he was like you said, at a young age, he was a sponge. He hadn't touched, like you say, he didn't touch a ball until 7th, 8th grade. He learned so fast, and his work ethic was off the chain. And I finally had met somebody who was just as crazy as I was to go out there and work out. And I met my matchmate. People used to laugh at me and Monty. We used to have these weight vests on, 200 degrees at Johns Hill, running heels.
Yes,
before I was
sir.
14 years old or something like that. People laughing at us, But Monty lived in the gym. He was my workout buddy. If it wasn't him, me and him playing one-on-one, it was me and Lewis Jones playing one-on-one. But I don't know what I would have done, how my development would have been if Monty wasn't there. Because honestly, we came through at a time where people our age, our peers, couldn't really push us. We had separated ourselves that much.
Absolutely.
Even Jeremy, me and Jeremy used to play one-on-one at a young age at the Y, and Jeremy was a mother. Do you hear me?
He could shoot that
He
thing.
was a mother, flat out play.
Jeremy was the first person I seen come in the gym hit 15 jumpers in a row because I couldn't shoot at the time. I was just learning how to shoot the ball, and he was down at the Salvation Army, and he used to work with Phil every day. Phil used to go watch him and train him, and he brought Jeremy in the gym. And the first time I ever met Jeremy, he was playing at some small school. And
Clark Baptist.
Yeah, so he was
Average
getting,
90.
I heard he was getting 40, 45 a game. I'm like, damn, who's this kid getting all these damn points? So he came in the gym one day, and we were just now starting to warm up, and he was at one end, and Phil and I believe his dad or somebody, Jeremy, was rebounding for you. 15, 20 jumpers in a row. I was like, man, I can't even make 4 in a row. And I was making up for it for my athleticism, but I've never seen at that young age anybody shoot the ball better than Jeremy.
This kid right there.
Monty was super athletic, like you said, at a young age. Then, of course, Phil kind of polished his skill set. But athletic-wise, I mean, he was spot on doing Air Jordan-type dunks. I mean, every dunk Jordan was doing, Monty was doing at a young age.
9th grade. I could do any kind of dunk I wanted to do in the 9th grade.
Plus, Monty had every shot. I mean, Monty, you were a scorer. I mean, you were a scorer. If it was a jumper, if it was a drive, if it was a dunk, a transition. I mean, Monty was just when we played him, and when you were a sophomore, me and Philippe were seniors. Our whole goal was we knew Monty was going to go off. The thing was to shut everybody else down because we weren't going to stop Monty. I can't remember you. I think you had a couple of 30-point games against us. We got the W, but you couldn't stop Monty. So
well, this kid on the screen is still the state record holder for points in one season. Yeah, it was East Park Baptist, but he tries to tell me they kept giving him the ball back. Does anybody believe they kept giving him the ball back?
I think it was.
He could flat out shoot, man. He could flat out shoot.
He was a shooter, man.
Rodney mentioned somebody who made an impact on me. It was Lewis Jones. I grew up on Union Street, and Lewis was dating the girl across the street, and I was always out in the backyard shooting. And next thing you know, I didn't know who he was. I was like 5th or 6th grade, and he comes over one day and says, "Hey, man, can I shoot with you?" And so we kind of struck up a friendship. And then my dad came out one day and was like, "Who is this guy? You know who that is? That's Lewis Jones, plays for MacArthur." Well, I didn't know. He was just this big, tall dude that was just shooting with me and kind of took me under his wing, was playing me one-on-one and stuff. I mean, he was older than me, but he was just we loved watching him play at MacArthur with Kip and Keita and Fabian Warren. Fabian Warren was a kid, point guard, when I was a little kid. That I used to love, man. I mean, I wore my drawstrings out of my shorts. My dad took me to see Eisenhower and MacArthur play with Kip and Keita and Fabian and all of them. And Fabian Warren was my guy. So Lewis was great.
Jeremy, you told me a story one time. So when you went to MacArthur, 1 or 2 years?
2 years. My
2
junior
years.
year, sophomore year.
And you had to you got
Or senior.
you didn't get Hayes, but you had to prove you belong there. Was it Spates? Was it Spates that gave you the tough
Oh, it
love?
was everybody. My first tryout, because I spent all fall playing soccer, so these guys were playing, and they were playing pickup stuff all fall without me. So I come in there, and I think they were expecting me to be a little pretentious or whatnot, and I wasn't. But my first days of practice were rough. They were rough. I mean, they got all over me. Terry Taylor, Derek Spates, Sean Smith. I mean, they put me through the ringer. And they made me prove myself. It made me a better player. It made me a better person, made me a better player. It made me tougher.
At that time, it wasn't too many grimy white boys coming through. And Jeremy and Chris Ewing by far was the grimiest white boys that came through that could give it to anybody on any given day. So
Hard nose.
Yeah, so define grimy. You're just talking like hard nose, not afraid
hard
of contact.
nose. Yeah.
Not playing with guys that ain't their color.
All right.
That's right.
They wasn't afraid. They wasn't afraid. So.
But see, the other thing was I came in, and I used to hear it all the time. And I don't mean to make it racial, but everybody said, you can't play black dudes. You didn't play against black dudes. You didn't play against black guys. Well, what they didn't know was I was playing with the AAU with Phil Banks. I was playing with Rodney, Monty. I mean, we were at the Y. It wasn't like I was just playing with all these little small school white boys all the time. So I had a little of that game in me before I went to MacArthur, but thanks to these guys and thanks to Phil Banks. I mean, Phil Banks, I'm glad Monty and Rodney were highlighting him because, man, he made a big impression on my game as well.
Yeah, he definitely was an impact on me. When I started getting in trouble there in Decatur, the reason why I left my sophomore year wasn't really due to him, but he helped me get out of that situation, get out of Decatur, and get over to Springfield. And once I did, went over to Springfield, everything kind of changed for me.
Did you play with Rennie Clemens over there? Were you at Calvary?
I played after Rennie. Rennie was after he had left. That was the year I came in.
Right.
The following year. And
Rennie was my roommate at 5-star.
Rennie was a beast, man.
Yeah,
he wasn't very big, but he was real hard nosed.
Dunking on
quick, explosive. Yeah, he was incredible.
Actually, I was on an unofficial visit. That game when he went up over Shaq. Yep. He almost
that
dunked.
game.
Yeah.
Some people try to say that game didn't happen or that dunk didn't happen.
Yeah, no, he didn't dunk it. He didn't dunk it. He was close.
Just got up there and got close.
He didn't dunk it.
It's all right.
But I was on an unofficial, and when Steve Smith came in and torched us, Michigan State.
Dude was a killer. Tarise, where'd Taurus go? Tell me about getting to play with this guy every day for so long. Tell me about Taurus's game.
Taurus behind the couch like Michael Myers.
He was quiet. He was a quiet ball player, man. It was just mainly me and Mike. Taurus was off in his own little world, man. Talked a lot of stuff, but you had to push his button for him to get going.
What got him going? He was a stop the bleeding guy, I always thought. You were going to score 20 a night. Taurus, when the other team went on a little bit of a run, Taurus was going to be the one to shut him up.
He got tired of me and Mike shooting the ball all the time.
Marv Dampier pays Taurus a hell of a respect. I don't want to put words in Marv's mouth, but he doesn't say he was the best player because everybody knows Tarise was a killer, but somewhere along the lines of the most important player on any of these great teams we've had. 96 MacArthur, 97 Stephen Decatur, 2000 – I don't know which one, 7 or 8 Eisenhower. I think it's kind of commonly known in the last 40 years, those are probably the 3 best teams the city has had. Show of hands, who thinks they were on the best team the city's ever had?
I can't even put 2 hands up.
Those are the 5 hands I thought would go up. So
Yeah.
Jeremy can't even determine which is the best team he coached, so I can't ask him.
That's like picking between my kids, man.
I think Lewis, your junior, I think that team might have been a little better, but when Jeremy and J-Rob were seniors, they had gone to another level.
There were some tough teams. I saw Peasy and Tez and John Cliff and I think Murph and a couple. Play Ronnie Fields and them, man.
Yeah.
And
that's why you can't trust records because.
Wait, I ain't gonna hate on y'all, but at a summer league game or actual game?
No, that was a summer league. That was over in Parkland, I think.
It was that
Parkland.
Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have got killed in a real game.
Man, you crazy.
Well, I'm just saying,
That was like a real game. I can tell you that.
I'm just saying we got it officially. We beat Chicago Simeon in a real game. That's all I'm saying.
Who was ranked number one too?
Fair enough.
I mean, I give you that.
All 3 or 4 teams, you've got a real resume.
Hold on, though. The '76 Eisenhower team, does that count within the 40 years?
Got to be my lifetime. So I guess that's 40 years old. That's 40.
Think, Rodney, didn't your mama play on that team?
Hey, mama.
Hey, be on his mama, yo.
Hey, Cortez, Marlon and Corley won the next 2 players of the year after Tarise graduated. Who's the best player not on this call? It doesn't have to be one of those guys, but I mean, that MAC team, even the freshmen on you guys' senior team, you guys are freaking loaded, man. So deep. And that's not even mentioning Ken.
Yeah, man.
Mono.
Because Mono was really
Mike Wilder.
Who?
Mike Wilder.
That's not mentioning Mike, but yeah. Mike.
Yeah, that's not on this call. You got to go with Mike.
If you go all around, yeah, I was. Well, Mike was just more athletic than everybody, man. He was just far ahead of his time on athletic ability. I don't know.
It runs in the family. I'm sorry, guys.
I might have to say Ken, man. Ken or Romano, just because they could do everything and they played the 4 and the 5 position. But you can they can handle the ball, they can shoot it, they can actually run an offense. I don't know. You know, I'm biased toward MacArthur anyway.
You said they could actually run an offense like somebody couldn't?
Mike Riley ain't running no offense. He's shooting.
Oh, so Rodney won't have a bias. He's not picking those St. T kids. Who's the best player not on this call?
That's right.
Best player that's probably not on there that was on there. Corley Lee was tough, man. If Corley Lee had the body, you know.
Was he knocking down threes by his senior year? He was shooting from the outside too, wasn't he? By the time he graduated.
Corley was tough, man. He like I said, he went Division I. Ken Yanders went Division I. Them guys were special, man. They don't talk a lot about them, but Corley Lee had the size and everything to go big time. I don't know why.
Because you can yell at him and it's out of his game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tarise, you say Mike Wilder?
That wasn't a player then.
Mike was
Mike was a freak. They could play the game too. I've covered some I've seen some phenomenal leapers. I don't know. Anybody remember Marvin Cobb?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys didn't play. I mean, they didn't have the game necessarily, but Cobb, Lamont Wright. Is there a better leaper? Who am I leaving out of those three?
Big Adrian Anderson could get up.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had big hands. Big hands.
What? Yeah, that's pretty good. What? Who's the best player on the call, Monty Senior?
Some of these guys are kind of, one of the things that's hard for me is once I left Decatur, I kind of checked out. Not that I didn't follow some of these guys, because obviously like Bryson and some of these other guys, I knew.
You were gone when you got in high school.
But when I left high school, I didn't come back to Decatur very much at all. When I went to college, I stayed down in Nashville at Tennessee State, and most of the time when I come back, it's kind of like when I come back now. I come back in flashes, 3-4 days tops, and then I'm back in Atlanta. I was doing the same thing in college, and then once I started my pro career, I hardly ever came back, maybe once a year. So some of these guys that you mentioned, I really don't even know. I know everybody on this call, obviously, and some of their athletic and achievements, but some of these other guys, I don't know.
Lewis, best player not on the call.
I mean, somebody find Junior Bond for me. I just want to know if Junior Bond's still around.
That's who I would have said.
I heard he in California. Didn't you tell me that, Bond?
Yeah.
Okay. I still didn't get his information I needed, man. That was my little guy. So I tell you a story about Junior Bond. He didn't live far from me. And I used to catch him after I got back from college. And I kind of mentored Junior Bond when I got back. You know, this is some stuff that nobody really knows. And he used to catch up with me, and we used to go to Johns Hill Park. And, you know, I just give him a full-blooded evaluation of his game and what he needs to do and how he needs to approach the game. And he took full advantage of every single minute I was with him at Johns Hill Park. And we used to do that at least 2 or 3 times a week when I actually came back from college. And he was a hard worker. I never got a chance to see him play in a high school game because when that time was going on, obviously I was back in college and I was practicing myself. But I heard he had a really, really good career.
Some of you guys stopped playing basketball by choice. Some of you guys might have stopped playing because the options were limited. It was time to move on. But is there a harder decision than admitting to yourself that competitiveness is done? I mean, you could play, you can get in the gym and play a little bit forever. But I think Rodney and Monty had the longest pro careers. I mean, what is saying goodbye like? Or did you even feel it since you were still kind of playing a little bit?
It was easy for me because after a few injuries and you can't do what you're accustomed to doing, then it's easy to walk away from the game.
But coming to that realization of knowing you can't do those things anymore. I mean, how hard is that?
I finished up in South America, in Brazil. I think I was about 32, maybe 32 years old, and I was sweating hard to get 19 or 20 points after a knee injury I had. I had to sit out a couple of years, and then in a league that I knew I was supposed to be dominant, you just get to the point where your body start aching, and you're going to have to make that transition into the real world eventually.
Monty?
I had a great run. Like I said, I played in South America, played in Australia 4 or 5 years, Asia for a while, played in Europe for a while. I didn't go the CBA route. I ended up getting drafted to Grand Rapids, but I didn't go play at Grand Rapids. I ended up playing in the IBA or something up in Des Moines for a little while. I had a great run,
In the gym right now, a lot of you guys still look as good as, I mean, nobody looks as good as they did when they were 24, but like, it's amazing that you could look the way you look and you still got to accept it. Tarise, when did you know, what was it for you that you knew you were just kind of like, that part of me is over?
When I played RJ one-on-one.
The 2020 player of the year, Rodney Walker Jr.,
Then I played Jaron one-on-one. It's over.
Did you play my son too, Bryson? Huh? Did you play Monty too?
Yeah, I thought I was good then, but when I played them two, I called Rodney this morning, told him it's over with for me.
Lewis probably doesn't know this, but Lewis was killing it for Erie. And me and Jeremy, I can't remember if we were calling or texting, but I was like, I can't remember who, maybe Raymond Felton got hurt for the Knicks. And I know with the D League, now the G League, you don't have to go up to the team that you're affiliated with, but you're more likely. Jeremy and I are looking at plane tickets thinking Lewis is about to get that call up. And then a couple years later, I mean, you don't get there. I mean, the NBA dream, every one of you had it. Why is it so goddamn hard? I mean,
politics.
There's no way in the world. I mean, every one of you guys, I honestly think everyone, maybe not Jeremy, because he'd yell at me if I said he was in this group.
Yeah, not me either.
Every one of you you were good enough though. I mean, so why is it so dang hard to get into that political world? Why have we not had anybody since the Decatur High guy in the 60s? And I can't even remember his name right now.
It's real tough, man. It's very political. I've been to a couple NBA camps with Miami Heat and
Lewis is close. He's been close.
Here in Atlanta Hawks, and you get to the point you get so frustrated. I actually was going head to head with Miami's draft pick that they picked. I would tell you no lie, I embarrassed him in front of the people who drafted him. But since he's the one that they chose and drafted, you got to do up and beyond being better than them, because you don't want to, or they don't want to feel like, you're showing them up. I had the Miami coach shut the practice down because I was out rebounding their 6'9", 6'10s. and pushing them out of the way in practice and dominating the practice, because after coming back from Venezuela and Puerto Rico, they didn't know who the hell I was. And all of a sudden, by the end of the camp, you know, they're calling me wife beater, because I used to come in with wife beaters all the time. I still do. But everybody in the entire camp, and that goes for the Atlanta Hawk camp here, even when I was 36, I dominated those camps. But, you know, they're not going to look at a 36-year-old guy at that point. I played until I was 38. And what made me know that I was done is exactly what Rodney said. I didn't have the injuries that cut Rodney short, but you see a spot on the court that you know you're supposed to be at, and you're not there. You don't have the vertical explosion to get those easy shots like you is. So a 20-point game start to seem like a 40-point game.
Yeah.
It was getting really hard. I was still scoring 20, 25 a night, but it was getting harder and harder to score. And I had to use more tricks, more pump fakes, more jab steps to create space, because I wasn't as athletic and I wasn't as quick, but I could still shoot the ball and get people off balance so I could still score. But without the athletic ability, and guys were starting to jump up and above me, I feel like it was time to move on and do something else.
I cover these kids, and, you know, even Christian, who was a phenomenal player, and I knew he was going to have to prove himself at the college level because he's playing at St. Teresa, and that's what happens. You know, people got to prove themselves on the next level. Get Rodney back in here. And it's like, well, Tarise didn't make it. How's Christian going to make it? Lewis didn't make it. You know, how's another point guard? Is anybody bitter? Or is everybody happy with their career?
Now, you know what? With the NBA, it's a lot of, you know, people complain about politics, but my situation wasn't so much politics. It had a lot to do with bad timing. You know, I came out the first year of the damn lockout.
We're loaded with bad timing stories. Perry Hines, bad timing. Lewis, bad timing when Shannon Brown got signed by the Knicks. Tyrese, bad timing when he broke his wrist. Maybe we're bad luck city.
Yeah, mine too. Because when I was a draft pick, when my senior year, going into my senior year, I was ranked the top 8 guard in the country. And my damn senior year, I break my foot. Yeah. I come back from the injury. I re-break my foot. I come back from that and get my cheekbone fractured. So I missed my whole entire senior season. I played maybe 7 games.
He was so fragile, man.
And you know what? The crazy thing is, after that, guys, I never got another injury, ever. It was just that, to me, even if I would have had a mediocre season, I would have got drafted.
All right, 2D. Cortez, tell us some funny story. You're the funny guy. I should have had a TikTok dance video.
Oh, you asked the right person too, didn't you?
Man, I ain't got no funny story.
Tell us your best John Cliff story.
Hold on, I do. So, you know, I played at Northeastern, and we played Hofstra. So, Speedy Claxton at Hofstra, and quick guy, couldn't shoot worth a lick. I mean, we played a sagging zone on this cat. So bad.
Typical East Coast.
Man, this fool must have worked on upper the rest of the year, the whole summer, the winter. He didn't take a break. That bitch came back on that next year, torched us. I mean, shot that bitch from the volleyball line, beyond the 3, and then I would go out there on him on the baseline. Coaches tell you, take that step, cut him off, send him back towards the middle. This fool was so fast, before I could step out of bounds, he was already gone. This here, boy.
Speedy actually played on the butter rim, didn't he?
Did he?
I think so.
It was him, yeah.
Yeah, Speedy played. He played a little bit on the butter rim.
Really?
Yeah, you have to watch it. I think so, yeah.
Nice. John, tell me, Cortez here, this guy, has he always been a character?
Always. Always.
He's the best Facebook follow I got.
Oh,
We can't share any of them with the public.
Anytime we have sprints, all of a sudden he's hurt. He pulled a hamstring.
No, it was never a hamstring, bro. It was shin splint. Get it right.
Next day, he was at the game, though. He was playing the game.
Yeah.
Shin splints don't show up on an X-ray.
Yeah, so
I bet Beasley ran every one of them, didn't he?
Huh?
Yeah,
he ran every one of them sprints, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had no problem there, but shit, it was okay. But Ted, I'll get on the bike, Ted. When he get on the bike, we out here running. You know what I mean? And the next night, the game, Ted ready to play.
Yeah, and I performed.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
I remember one time, I know Ken's not on here, but, we had a rule that we had to wear jock straps. And one day,
that's a team rule?
Oh,
man.
Who'd you have, Bob Moore?
Bob Darling.
So one day, he didn't have one on, so we all lined up. Coach comes by, checks everybody's job.
What?
Hold on.
Y'all was getting molested?
No, you just had to show the rim of it.
But you just had to
that's
show the
terrible.
rim. So what was crazy about the situation, he had some tighty whities on. Man, he pulled them up and ripped them so they could look like underwear. It was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen in my life.
You guys all played for I can't speak for Monty Senior. I guess Bob. Did you have Bob? You have Bob Moore.
I had Bob Moore.
And I can't speak for Rodney, but I put Jeremy in this group for Lewis, and you guys all played for.
What's up, everybody?
Extremely educated.
What's up, nephew?
You all play for hellaciously good coaches. Was that just good luck? I mean, Lewis talked about Jeremy. I mean, he told me he came in, he wanted to teach defense. I mean, was that something you even thought about?
Coach Moore said he wanted.
Yeah, he was only an offensive player, and he had to get better at teaching defense. You guys created a ton of turnovers.
No, I give him credit. I tell people all the time the best thing about Coach Moore, and it was just great for me. He was the first coach that knew how to manage players. He knew his defense. We're gonna play hard, but he knew how to play. And a lot of coaches know X and O's, especially next level, but they don't know how to manage players, and that's the best part. Like, he knew he could yell at me and get me motivated, and from the guy, another player on our team, he couldn't yell like that, and then learn how to play point guard because I was able to see his leadership, and he showed me how to manage guys.
You told me a little bit about that, the halftime of the T. Adams Stephon Carson game, right?
Yeah, let me tell you that one. I don't know if Lewis and I have ever actually talked about this because we played Lewis's junior year, and I knew everybody, right? Especially MacArthur. I knew who everybody was on that team, and we were getting that regional game, and Stephon Carson was, I can't remember, ineligible. I can't remember. He didn't play that game, and so Adams was playing, and I didn't know Darius because he's playing, and Lewis cannot. He's going by Lewis like Lewis isn't even there, and I'm on the bench.
They have 3 wins, right?
I'm turning around to J.D. Arnold and Mike Lowry, and I'm my language probably wasn't real good, but I'm saying, who is this? Who is this kid? Who is doing this to Lewis? Who is he? Where'd he come from? So we go into halftime, and at the time I didn't realize how good D really was. So I went into halftime, and the guys were already down in the locker room, and I told Lowry and JD, I said, watch out. This is going to get bad. I said, I'm going after Lewis. I said, I'm going to piss him off. And so I went into Lewis, and I started right in on him. I said, I don't even know who this kid is. You can't even keep him in front of him. Lewis is going, my foot's hurt. My foot's hurt. I'm going, you shouldn't even be playing then. You shouldn't even go out the second half. So he's chirping back at me, and we're chirping back. And I walk out of the locker room, and I turn to JD and Lowry, and I go, I feel sorry for that kid. And it was like the Jordan thing. He went out second half, and Lewis just put the clamps down. And that was the end of that. That was the end of that threat. I think we ended up blowing him out. But that was my – I mean, I knew how to get Lewis to push Lewis's buttons. He knew how to push mine too. But I knew how to push his buttons. And sometimes it was a calculated call to piss him off because when he was pissed off, boy, look out.
Easy, did you play for Williams and Darling?
Yeah.
You got 1 year with Williams, right?
Yeah, I got my senior year with Williams, yeah.
Was he just a younger Darling?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think he had his own way of doing things. I think there's some things he brought to the table that was kind of like Coach Darling. But coming from Peoria, Darling was he was different. you know, and I think the guys that, you know, that played under him, you know, took that into consideration when he was, you know, summer ball and you know, doing things during the summer and how hard he worked us and things he wouldn't put up with and tolerate, you know. I had a, give you an example, I had a good game and he coming to my class in this game because I was talking like, you know, like I was big time, you know. He come into my classroom with a bat, all right? Puts the bat on the chalkboard, says, hey, you know, are you doing a lot of talking? No, you haven't done shit. You know, you had one good game, you know, you haven't done shit. We got 2 kids on the team that's our guy. You start running your mouth. This is in front of all the people in the classroom. Like, he just brought me back down to reality real quick, you know, humbled me real fast. And then Williams was a little different. You know, he kind of let me be who I was. You know, just, you know, enjoy playing the game. He didn't really push me as much as Darling did. And also, like, at that time, you know, we were young. Me and Mono were the only senior team at that point. So the rest of those guys were sophomores. We were pretty young.
Gotcha. Tyrese, would Tom Cruise mean a lot to you?
Yeah, Cruz did a lot, but I got to give a lot of credit to Krebs.
Yeah.
Krebs probably pushed all of us. And Cruz, by the time Cruz got there, we was ready-made. I think we was disciplined. Krebs took us off when we was immature and put us – I think I give a lot of credit to Krebs. Cruz put a lot of X's and O's at the end, but I think we was already ready by the time Cruz got there.
Yeah. I think well, I mean, you guys are the best of the best, so I mean, it's a blast getting a chance to chat with you. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of other things planned. We've run pretty deep, but I'll go longer if you guys want to go longer. If you want to keep chatting, I mean, John Cliff. So we have 4 guys in town that have ever played in the tournament, right? John, you played as a freshman.
Yeah.
And then Rodney played twice. Did you play both years in the mix?
No, just once.
Just once.
Then the feds came in and shut us down.
Lewis killed it and went to the Elite 8, and then Christian got to play with Tyrese would have played. Mike, Wichita, you had a couple over 500 seasons?
Yeah, but we, you know, we would, you know, mid-major, man, and even if we'd have won our, you know, we had to win our tournament to get in each year. And,
yeah.
You know, we never won.
Same with Tennessee State, right? Did Tennessee State or Tennessee Martin? What are you playing a conference championship?
Tennessee State is a conference championship.
You played in it, so you were playing in the dance.
No, I played in the NCAA tournament.
You did play in it. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't. You're 5 because you're not a Decatur graduate. Gotcha. That's right.
Yeah, I did.
Was that all it's cracked up to be, John?
Oh, it is. It's exciting. Yeah, it's fun.
What is it? What is it, Monty? What is it that?
It's the atmosphere. You know, it's the energy. You go in there and walk in, and you're in one of these big stadiums, and there's 30,000, 40,000 people there to watch you play. Nothing but yells and screams, and it's the TV exposure. I mean, that is in by itself, man, was electrifying to me. I didn't think I had a great game in my NCAA tournament, but I ended up with like 14 points and 13 rebounds.
Who'd you play?
We played Seton Hall.
Who was on that team?
Tony, what's it?
Terry DeHare won.
Terry DeHare.
Yeah.
Terry DeHare. Then they had that big 7'4" monster guy. I can't remember his name. He was crazy. And then they had Bobby Hurley.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had a really, really good team.
Danny Hurley.
Danny Hurley. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They had Danny Hurley, and then they had a foreign shooter, Stavakovic or something like that. But he was pretty good. He ended up going back to Europe and making millions of dollars. He was a phenomenal shooter. So they ended up beating us by 10 points.
John, did you just play one game?
Yeah, we just played one. We played, got a bad pick, if you will, Providence, Austin Crocier,
Oh, yeah.
Sham guy. So that was a tough team, you know, for a first round. So, yeah, it was. I didn't play a lot of minutes, but, you know, I got a chance to, you know, experience the atmosphere. You know, I can piggyback off what Monty was saying.
Was that the year?
I mean, it's nothing like it.
Was that the year Providence beat Duke in the second round?
Yes.
Were they a 10? Were you a 7?
It was in that. It was in the North Carolina region, so it was there. So it was just, man.
Yeah. Illinois was a 6 that year, and we're looking at it as Illini fans like, man, they could line up playing either Cliff, and then it's like, oh, they might line up. Then they lost to Chattanooga in the first round. They were like, man, I would have seen John play. It would have been something. Rodney, did you make the second weekend? I can't remember.
Yeah, we were one and done. You know, funny you say it. the experience wasn't that great. The stadiums wasn't that much better than what we were already playing in. You know, we had about 13 or 14 ESPN games my senior year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
10:30 back here. Jeremy,
just
back to those, didn't you?
Yeah.
We had just left the MGM and playing at the Thomas and Mack Center at UNLV. Now we've been ranked all season and end up going to Oklahoma and get a 11th or 12th seed and being mostly ranked all year. So now we leave Vegas and then go to Oklahoma City. It was like, yeah, whatever. You know, and playing in big country backyard, we got to play big country now. First game.
Lewis, you went to the Elite Eight, and then also was that your freshman year?
No, we went to 2 Sweet 16s, freshman, sophomore year.
And Duke got you your first time. I know. Who got you the second time?
UConn got me the first time with Sheen B, AJ Price, those guys. Then we got Duke. They won the national championship that year. Then my next year, we get to the second round. We lose to VCU. They make it to the championship game. Then my senior year, we lose to Kansas. They make it to the championship game.
Well,
every team put me out in the Final Four.
That's a nice story stuff right there, man. That is nuts. Bad luck. Always bad luck.
But Lou, y'all got to the Garden too in the NIT preseason too, though, right?
That was my freshman year. We played that. That was our preseason tournament. We played that, so we ran in. That was Tarise Bryson. We lost to Blake in the championship game. He had like 25 pounds, so it was ridiculous.
Now, did you guys get to go down and meet Lou Carnesecca too?
Yep. Then you know they had a little steak dinner, everything.
Yeah. Y'all go to Tavern on the Green?
Yep. With the little horses outside, all that.
Yeah, Tarise put up 40 on Kansas, right? Do I remember that story right?
No, I ain't have 40 on Kansas. I had 40 on Central Michigan.
Oh, okay, but you played well against you. What'd you do? What was the Kansas game? I don't remember the Kansas game.
You had 40 against somebody.
Miami, wasn't it?
Yeah, Miami.
Yeah, I remember that game. Throw that motherfucker long ass nigga up too.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Puerto Rico, I think.
Jones?
He's in Puerto Rico, I think. I was gunning that game. That was after we went to Kansas. I had like 12 points, man. Next game, I just was gunning. I wasn't about nothing that game.
Dick Vitale knew Tarise, though, man. I was so pumped for his senior year. And when he went down, I just for some reason knew. And Tarise drove to the hole from the baseline, first play of the second half. He went down, he rolled over. I had never seen this dude hurt.
Hey, Reese, I never asked, did you ever try to get your 6-year eligibility? Because they gave that one dude from Northwestern here.
Shot him down.
Yeah, he shot me.
Hey, I tried to get it after my bum senior year. They said, no, they call me what they call an impact player. They will not give it to an impact player.
Wow. Because that cat from Northwestern got his, didn't he?
Was he averaging anything like 15 to 20 points a game?
You talk about Evan Eschmeyer, he got like 9 extra years. Jess Settles played at Iowa for like a decade. It's like,
didn't he?
How do these guys get these years? What you're 80 years old, you're on your deathbed, and somebody asks you about basketball, Tarise, what do you think will be the thing you remember the most? Everything linked to basketball in your life.
Good.
Question for everybody. Jump in. Anybody got an answer?
Man.
Mine was playing against Michael Jordan.
Played against Michael Jordan?
Yeah, we did it at his camp. You know, he would invite all the top freshmen in the country to his camp to work his camp. So
and Phil used to work there too.
Yeah, Phil used to work his camp.
Yeah, Phil used to work there.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Phil used to take. Yeah.
Jordan sent flowers to his funeral, didn't he?
I don't know. I have no idea.
That was always we were told.
Are you talking about Phil Banks? I think you meant Phil Jackson.
Yeah. So I was a freshman in college, so he invites all the All-American freshmen to his camp to work his camp. And Rodney, you might know this guy. Remember Orlando Lightfoot?
Oh, yeah.
He went to Idaho. He was a monster. He was a beast.
Yes. Yeah, he was.
So we after going up and down a couple of times, you know, Orlando was on my team, obviously, and Mike was on the other team. And it was game point. And right before game point, Orlando was guarding Michael Jordan. And Mike said, when the ball went out of bounds, I was right next to Orlando. He said, I'm going to get the ball. The next time I get the ball, I'm going to go baseline, I'm going to spin on you, and I'm going to dunk. And we kind of looked at it. Like, man, you ain't going to – I mean, how you going how you gonna tell me what you about to do, right? So I ain't thinking nothing else. I ain't gonna do that. But next play down, Mike gets the ball on the left side. He drives the baseline left, spins, and Lando jumped as high as he can. Mike dunked on him so hard, man. I said, that's when I knew you to go. When you tell somebody you about to do something and do exactly what you say, that was it for me. I said, man, that was the moment. And then, of course, meeting him and Scotty and taking pictures with those guys, man. And that's in the prime Bulls, you know, when they were winning championships. That's around that area,
Is Mike not anybody think Mike's not the GOAT, by the way?
Oh, he the GOAT.
He the GOAT.
There's no question.
Last
talking to the wrong people.
Yeah.
And it's real. And he can be a dickhead, and he's real about it, and it makes him cooler. That's what. Anybody else? What's your?
Hey, Mike finger about this big around. One of them. He had some sausage link, 5 sausage link for his hands.
And then Dr. J had him by an inch. That's crazy.
Yeah. Them dudes. Hey, you talking about big hands? That's how guys were so incredible, man. It's so much easier. You can ask anybody who's trying to dunk the ball for the first time. If you can palm the ball with ease, it makes it so much easier to dunk and control that ball when it comes to ball handling and comes to creating creativity in the air. Those guys had humongous hands.
Chuck, you still dunk one time?
What would you say?
Can you still dunk one time?
Yeah, okay.
Can you get it?
It's like one of those fingertip dunks. That's about it.
Mike Wilder told me like 8 years ago, he goes, getting up ain't the problem. Landing is the problem.
Man,
that's the problem.
That is. You worry about landing now. Yeah.
Everything is like shock absorbers. It's like, boom, just hurt.
Yeah.
I'm sure Lewis can still throw down, right?
Yeah,
Lou, you can still get up there a little bit?
A little bit.
Does he need the oop? What was that? What was that first play of the game? Alley oop to Lewis or Jeremy every time. What was that play called?
That was the J-Rob.
Oh, Lewis.
That's when we were going to play MacArthur, and the night before, and I had just ended practice. We were just bringing everybody in, and I don't know what I was thinking of. It was going to be Jeremy's first game against MacArthur, his kind of introduction to Decatur. And I brought him in to huddle, and I don't know what I was thinking. I just said, hey, you guys want to start tomorrow with a bang? And they just looked at me, and I said, let's do a lob to J-Rob off the tip. Let him hammer one just to show MacArthur it ain't happening.
Get out of here.
And so we kind of set this little thing up, and I'll never forget the first time we did it that next night, and we tipped it back. Wesley Dawson set a back screen off a loop. J-Rob looped off the tip. He tipped it back to Lewis. Of course, Lewis threw a perfect oop. J-Rob caught 2 hands and just hammered it. And the place just went berserk, and
nice.
It was over. It was over. We could have just called the game and left at that point because it was over.
John, you didn't know, but you knew Chuck Weigel at MacArthur. I was Stephen Decatur's Chuck Weigel. I was just cooler. So when I heard Supersonic, Tarise probably didn't like that play because he had nothing to do with it. But Taurus and Mike Wilder, you guys started a lot of games with Supersonic. Those memories go down. Is that right? Supersonic was the oop, right?
No.
What was Supersonic?
I don't know what was Supersonic.
See, he don't even remember because he wasn't in the play.
Reese, I've been hearing him tell this story about Supersonic all for the last every car trip we take. He brings up Supersonic.
Yeah, that might be between Mike and Taurus, man.
Tom would call it, and we would stand up because we're about to run down to the other end.
The thing about the tip play, though, it only worked against teams that really had. You could tell the teams that had scouted us had got there late to the tip and didn't see it. The teams that got there early and saw the tip, we knew who it was because as soon as we tipped it, and they're just grabbing J-Rob at half court, like we ain't let him go down. I'd look at Lewis like, nope, not gonna work.
Peasy, what's your best basketball memory?
Obviously the 101-97 high school game. Steve Decatur and MacArthur.
If Steve Decatur would have won, I would talk about that more. That was an unbelievable game.
I think we talk about it a lot, man, because of the atmosphere of the game, and it may go down one of the best games between 2 high schools. I'm gonna be honest with you, just atmosphere and guys that played in that game.
1 OT or 2 OTs?
It was one 101-97. Just electric, man. The
That's
game.
a lot of points.
Yeah,
Romano sticks out. Was that like a big breakout night for Romano or something, or he just have a big night?
Him and Lamont both was the X factor in that game. You knew Tarise was gonna get off. You knew Mike was gonna get off in Taurus. Then you had obviously John and Tez and myself, but Romano changed the atmosphere of that game. Him and Lamont was going at it that game.
Gotcha. That's amazing. What's cool is, and I don't know if some of you guys might know, I really didn't cover any of you guys. I went to school with Tarise. I'm younger than half of you, and I wasn't even really in media. I covered Lewis in college and after, but I love the role players, man. I love giving them love because you star players, you don't give a crap about us local media guys. You guys got bigger fish to fry. So I love giving love to those guys, and it's guys like Romano and Chris Rice and Brendel Griggs and Wesley Dawson, who were. It's hard. I know it's hard for you to say, man, they were great players when you're looking at a list like you guys, but every one of you guys had tremendous role players. I mean, Montrell Pena was pretty good. He wasn't a scorer, but, I mean, he was important to 97 Stephen Decatur. Byron Owens was important to those MacArthur teams, right? I mean, you need those guys. You need enforcers.
Wesley Dawson.
They were hard-nosed players, you know.
Wesley to me was a star.
Wesley got us to won us a sectional. I mean, no, you know, Lewis was the man, but that shot he hit against Quincy with you know, under a minute to go to give us the lead was a ballsy shot.
Didn't he hit a big shot at the end of the super sectional too, just to keep you within arm's length? I was thinking that. Maybe I'm thinking of the sectional shot.
I just know Lewis got fouled on that because we should have played. We should have played Derrick Rose that year for the final.
Yeah, Lewis got hammered and no whistle.
I mean, Lewis had a goosebump on his head out to here, and we didn't get anything there.
Bad luck, bad calls.
Yeah,
bad
it is.
You get no damn luck on this play.
Yeah, hey, you got to talk. You talk about though Peasy and the MacArthur Stephen Decatur game. You know, we got to give love to that Eisenhower Decatur Christian game too.
Yeah. I wasn't here. You know, I haven't heard much. I wasn't here to watch that. You know, I wasn't around then.
That was a hell of a game.
Thinking back, I just did games at the time, so I really didn't invest too much. I just showed up and did games and made $50 and was happy about it, trying to learn how to do play-by-play. But thinking back now to realize that you guys won that game is kind of crazy.
It was a hell of a game.
It 8 Division I players on that team.
We didn't win that game. We got beat.
Oh, I thought you won. I was thinking you won that game. Okay.
No, what was it? Lewis won 3 overtimes?
2 or 3 overtimes.
It's 3 overtimes.
Well, then the fact you were in that game like that, I just went.
It's a good game.
Well, the bottom line is, if Darrington Hobson hadn't gotten hurt,
it'd be a little different.
Yeah, we probably struggled to stay within 10 points of them.
Oh, butter.
Butter
was a guy, though.
See, I just pissed Lewis off.
That's disrespectful because on the level of, Darren's a phenomenal player, but those other guys don't get the same shots as him. The whole game with Darren, like Darrington was actually the guy that didn't allow them to play as a team. When he got hurt, everybody got the ball. Luka, a lot of people won't even remember him. He ended up going to Iowa State.
Yeah,
crazy. But under Darren, I can't ride with you on that one, Coach. I ride with you a lot, but that one, that's kind of disrespectful, Coach, because we dogs like that.
See, I told you, piss him off. Hey, I tell you what,
ready to play the game right now.
There's been no better warm up in the history of Decatur basketball than that game, because Alan Huss and I went to beforehand, and we knew it wasn't an IHSA game. I mean, because they were a prep school. They were operating at a prep school, and the officials walk out, and both ends are just hammered. It was a show, and the officials walked up to me and they said, you know, hey, we're gonna hit you guys up and we're gonna hit them up too. And I go, hey, I'm not shooting the tee. Alan Huss said, we're not shooting the tee either. And they said, all right, you guys can have at it. So the guys just went at it, and it was both ends. Both ends. It was the oohs and ahs, and the crowd was fun from a fan point of view because it was showtime.
The sound in the Stephen Decatur gym was similar to 97. Probably, sorry, Mike, when Tarise hit the buzzer beater. After John and Cortez had graduated, and that's what the sound was like every bucket in that DCS Eisenhower game. And I didn't play, but my memory was probably that shot because it was a whole lot of things. First of all, I love Tarise. I mean, he's people. They put this whole thing out on Facebook, your favorite players, and I'm like, I'm not putting anything on this because I would put Tarise and Lewis and Rod. Because I don't give a crap about these NBA guys. The fact I got to watch these great players, and then just in my own damn high school, I got to watch Tyrese's career, Taurus's career, and Mike's career. And I came back in PA, and that's my. I'm a super fan. I get it, but I just love the game. And at the same time, I got to learn and respect John Cliff and Cortez and all those MacArthur players, and come to the media and get to know Lewis's teams and Marcus and Christian, all these guys. That's a whole other thing. But the one time in my life I got to rush a court was when I think the ball bounced through Mike's hands. I can't even remember exactly what. I just know a little elbow jumper. And I hated Mike Phillips. I've told Mike this story 1,000 times. Mike would make shots and he'd bob his head. And as a senior in high school, I just hate this guy. And I read in the paper the next day, Mike was crying in the locker room, and I got all new respect. And I started respecting everybody. So my view on local basketball changed when I was a senior in high school. So
it's
that's
crazy. Me and Tarise, man, we've been going at it, man, since on opposite sides since Tarise 6th, 7th grade, and then high school against each other, college against each other. And it's funny, man, when we coach against each other, and it's crazy, man, because he'll call me the night before we play MacArthur. He'll call me and say, "Hey, Joe, you know I'm about to beat your ass by 100 points tonight, right?" So we playing, man. In my first year playing, man, he got one of the twins out there. I think it was Armand. And man, they killing us, right? Armand tearing us up, man. He beating us. They blowing us out. I look down sideline. I say, "Reese, is you gonna take him out, man? Like the game over?" And he looked at me, dog, and said, "No, no." For the whole game and just destroyed me. But it's a mutual respect between both of us, man. We've been competing against each other, man, since we was youngins, man. And again, it just never stops. He's so competitive, but at the end of the game, man, it's always love. But that's what's one thing I take these guys here, man. Being a part of their lives and in my upbringing, these guys, I appreciate everything.
Well, look at that 2-minute clip when Mike started crying at the end on Last Dance. That's the best 2 minutes of TV I've watched in ages when he's talking about competitiveness and leadership. Yeah. And, did it sacrifice being a nice guy? Like, that's why this game is different from other games, because you could, look at Jeremy. Jeremy knows how to motivate Lewis, and it's only by being a dick. So, and Jeremy and Lewis knows how to get it back. I mean, this is great. Like, the competitiveness, it obviously fades. Rodney's coaching. Rodney's competitive as anybody. I see him on the sidelines. Jeremy Moore is a competitive. We drive back from a game, and Jeremy's questioning calls from – it could be small school A, small school B. I know Tarise. John, you still got it? Monty, you still got it? I mean, just in life?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, we grew up from that. And the competitiveness, if you will, has been there. And it goes through life with work and, things like that as well. So, you got to still compete no matter what level you're at. And that's how I take my life and I run with it. So, to this day.
Me and Reese bet every time we see each other. Oh, something.
See, I don't buy that whole thing. I don't see Jordan as a dickhead off of that. And I mean.
I don't either.
He wasn't 90s. He just would be now.
Lewis as an example. And in no way am I saying Lewis is Jordan or anything like that. But I think the great guys, I think most of us on here have a little bit of that competitiveness that Jordan has. Of course, he had it on another level. But Lewis, everything we did in practice was a competition. It didn't matter what we did. We had a winner and a loser. I believe in competition. And I would pray sometimes that Lewis's team would win. And I would never alter a call to help his team win, whether it was a rebounding drill, whether it was a trap drill or something like that. Because if his team didn't win, whether it was the rebounding drill or whether it was the shooting drill, there was going to be hell to pay. I mean, he was pissed. And it was, there was times
he never punched Ryan Kirby.
Please let Lewis win. Lewis would be in a mood, in one of his moods. And I'm like, please let him win. Because if he doesn't win, I'm going to have to deal with it.
But he that's that punching Ryan Kirby in the face, though.
Yeah, he probably wanted to. They might have. Yeah, I know he almost punched Britt Miller in the face. So
that's a great story.
Tell that story too. I mean, he was a freshman. So, and that was all about winning. That was all about a question of commitment and that kind of thing. And so, I don't see Jordan as being a dickhead to that. I think he just wanted to win. It's like, hey, come with me. You either come with me or you don't.
That's it.
I agree.
Yeah, real champions, man. It's the best of the best. No one's going to have it. So, hey, you guys are the best, man. Anybody got anything they want to throw out there? We want to check out.
Hey, you guys do a hell of a job as well, on the radio. We do appreciate what you guys do covering, the local players. So, you guys don't get enough credit. It's a lot of hecklers out there that heckle you guys just as much as they heckle the players on the court. So keep doing what you're doing, and, we very much appreciate it. So,
I'm taking pride.
Absolutely.
I told Lewis, too, I remember, like, there are places, there's 5 radio stations that will show up, but I'm going to cover you for the rest of your life, especially in college and stuff. And if we can form friendships, great. So I don't know what some of these other guys were, that wanted to join. We'll probably do this again with guys like Christian and Marcus. But, just try to show love, man, because I don't want you guys to feel like you're just the entertainment as basketball players, because we see the
appreciate it.
And they try to say that Decatur, don't cover their athletes. And I can honestly say you guys, yourself, Ron Rector and Arvin Donnelly and whoever, they've been covering me since I was 15 years old, and I am 46 years old. 46 years old. So, I can't say that. I can't say that. So
legit, like building relationships, the best part about it. Now, the basketball's secondary. So being able to go back and build relationships with guys like John and Mike and Cortez, guys that you were the rivals to me, and now it's just cool, just mutual respect. So it's great chatting with you guys. Thanks for taking some time with us. I'm gonna kill the recording. You guys ain't got to sign off. I'm gonna kill the recording, and we're gonna call it a day. Aric Lee's ZoomTown show number 4. Had a lot of fun with some of the legends. We'll do this again. Definitely got an idea to do this with football too. We're gonna get Britt and Mo and some of those guys together, but we'll have a good time. So
we can have
Britt around with us.
Britt tell the Lewis story.
We'll make Britt tell it. I don't think he tells it quite the same though.
Appreciate it, guys.
Good seeing all you guys, man.
Good seeing everybody, man. Good seeing you guys.
Yeah.
All right, recording. No, wait a minute. Yeah, recording is done. So if you guys want to stick around, you can. But otherwise, thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
All right.
See you, fellas. John Cliff, good seeing you. Monty, good seeing you, man.